Welcome back to Robo KO, episode 3 of season 7. Let's get it started. Last week, we saw some huge fights in the box. Atomic Green and Bot of Italy squaring off, and it was quite an interesting fight. Definitely some big hits and a huge main event. I bet you've never heard that joke before. But let's get right into episode 3. We have some amazing fights for you tonight.
And yes, let's take a look at these fights.
Here are the fights.
Wow. So in this first match, Bung vs. Pizza Time will be our highlighted fight. But we're going to be starting off with Reaper against El Dominador, battle of two very old robots. Then we have Ice Wave against Complete Control, the former defending champion trying to figure out what went wrong. Killer Krab against Krusty Grab in a battle of the Crustacean Nation. Kraken against Abomination. Rampage against Breaker Box. And in the main event, Blindside against Snowblind. The unstoppable force against the pretty unmovable object.
Yeah, I mean, you can move it. You can really want to.
But now getting to that first fight. First up, we have El Dominador, the oldest robot that has been pretty much unchanged. It's got basically the souls of all of the fallen robots inside of it. Lancelot's lance, Duck's beak. It's basically just an old geezer who's back for a little bit of fun this season.
Yeah, definitely. The wedge, not the lowest. The lance isn't gonna do much, but hey, they're just here to have fun. And they're here to give some of these other veteran bots a run for their money, like Reaper.
Yeah, getting to Reaper, another very successful robot. They've always had some pretty good matches. They were the Season 3 champion. Have to see how they can do this season. Last season didn't go their way. See if they can make a good run this time.
Yeah, Reaper, they've had a couple not so great seasons in a row. Definitely trying to avenge that, change the direction that they're headed. And going up against El Dominador, a decently easy match for them. Let's see if they can pull out the win here.
Yeah, let's see what can go on in this match. Both robots getting ready, and the matchup has begun. Let's see. Ooh!
Already, El Dominador showing off that new speed. It definitely was not like that when it was made all those years ago.
They have put in something into that. They gave it a swiftness potion.
They gave it crack.
And now it's rolling. Oh, and it took off a wedge.
Wow, I mean, Reaper's wedge is gone. That's gonna give El Dominador free reign if they can stop that weapon.
Yeah, and look, the lance is starting to fall off. A very hectic first few 30 seconds. A lot more hectic than you would expect, and off goes the weapon of Reaper.
Both of these robots incredibly fast, but now Reaper without a weapon into the screws and upside down.
They've been flipped by El Dominador. This is gonna be it. El Dominador deciding to push them in. That was the most hectic 40-second match I think you could ask for. El Dominador, really surprising in this one.
Smoking so much, just incredibly fast. I don't think any of us expected it to be quite that fast.
That was very illiterate. But yeah, I mean, they broke off the weapon, they broke off the wedge. El Dominador woke up and chose violence, and yeah. Reaper was the victim.
Yeah, I mean, Reaper just was in El Dominador's way, and they made it known that they were going to take out Reaper, so a solid win.
Now getting to this next match, we have Ice Wave, Robot Chaos rookie, a pretty solid spinner, got some good power. However, I cannot stress this enough, the drive of this robot is painful. If you thought Amethyst was bad from a few seasons back, this is worse. It's terrible. But they have a decent weapon, and they're going up against Complete Control.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Wave looks good. I'm really ready to see if it can put its money where its mouth is. And going against Complete Control, the Season 5 champion.
Terrible.
It's
terrible
awful now.
It lost to Hammer of God.
It didn't win at all last season. So going up against Ice Wave here will be a good test. Was last season a fluke, or was Season 5 a fluke? And I guess that's what we'll find out today.
Yeah, it's really got to figure out something this season, but Ice Wave is an opponent where maybe they can get some good flips in. We'll have to see what happens here. One flip could end this match.
Let's see how it plays out down in the box.
And here we go, a battle of two robots that I don't think have fought before in BattleBots.
I don't think so. Either way, they're fighting now. And Ice Wave already seeming to have a bit of trouble engaging with the slope sides. Similar problem that Buzzkill had last week against similar bot and Stingray.
Yeah, it does look like they've done a little bit of peeling on the top armor of Complete Control. So, but Complete Control really can't do damage. So this is going to be interesting. But right now,
Ooh, a nice shot there when Complete Control's weapon came down.
Yeah, Complete Control trying to get a flip, but in the end not able to do that. Problem is if they flip, they're going to risk jamming it right into that spinner, and that spinner is not too bad. They can land a few good shots.
Yeah, that spinner's definitely solid. Ice Wave's drive, very slow, very deliberate, almost painful, but both of these robots have a pretty sad drive. It's just not the best.
Complete Control just, yeah, their hangover from winning in Season 5 has just been really bad. They've not done anything.
Complete Control really needs to get to the sides of Ice Wave here and
just can't
grab a nice flip. You just can't do it.
Yeah,
nice little flip there, though.
Yeah, they're just not really able to get much going. A few Ice Wave, they've at least engaged, and you can see a little bit of damage on that top, but right now, it's mostly been a stalemate that Ice Wave's just done enough to have the points for now if this was to go to a decision.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Complete Control, some aggression there, but it seems like whenever they engage with that flipper, they just get knocked into that spinner.
Yeah, right now, they're trying to find a good angle, but the problem is that it's slow. Not as slow as Ice Wave is, but it's still really not getting the speed it needs to get around. Right now, they're
Complete Control in the corner,
trying to snake their way around that pit. A lot of robots try to do that. Sometimes they're able to make it, sometimes not, but they're able to get away. But now Ice Wave trying to push them
back again.
They're getting closer and closer, and now
they're hanging over. Shot can do it. No?
There they go.
Yeah, there they go.
Wow. So Ice Wave's drive actually managed to push it into the pit.
That's surprising. I mean,
I'll give credit where credit is due.
I was looking more at that weapon, but I feel like the drive was more impressive than the weapon in this fight.
I mean, impressive. Well, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, but in the end, Ice Wave got the win. Complete Control, ugly loss again.
Ugly loss. I mean, it was a bad matchup for them, but solid win by Ice Wave, and we'll see if Complete Control can bounce back, but I doubt it.
Now we're getting into the most hyped match of the season. It's not. First up, we have Killer Krab. A Krab. It's a Krab.
It's a Krab. It's one of the most entertaining Krabs I've ever seen in my life. I mean, always has good fights. 13 and 12, so just kind of around 500.
Not bad.
They win some, they lose some, but they always make it a good fight. So I'm excited to see what they'll do against another Krabby bot in Krusty Krab.
Yeah, looking at Krusty Krab, it is a suplexer from the Endgame team. Endgame is not in the season because they have Krusty Krab. Of course, we'll have to see how powerful that lifter can be, but they're not fighting a very damaging robot, so I think this is a good test for them.
Yeah, for sure, a good test. It'll be a nice test to see how that suplexer works. You definitely want to get some nice flips in there, and you really want to make sure that those forks hold up, because I can see that being kind of a weak point on the bot, but let's see how it goes down the bot.
Krab.
That's true.
These are two Krabs, and now there is a nice little lift there from Krusty Krab. I feel like we're going to mess up the names of these robots.
Yeah, probably, but already Killer Krab kind of just throwing themselves at that weapon at Krusty Krab and under that little lifter, and
good
nice push there.
Good push by Killer Krab on Krusty Krab.
Wow, and a nice push into the screws. The speed of these robots this season.
That is one speedy crustacean right there, speeding around, and a nice little flick up there by Krusty Krab.
A nice little lift. Both of these bots coming out pretty aggressive. It seems like, Krusty Krab has the ground game.
But we'll have to see, can they get that lifter into action? Of course, Killer Krab is now invertible, so we'll have to see how they're doing.
Whoa! Nice suplex there.
Whoa!
Can Killer Krab even drive?
I think Killer Krab is just embarrassed after that. They got completely suplexed there. That is incredible shot there by Krusty Krab. That was quite the grab.
Yeah, for sure, and it seems like, Killer Krab may be invertible, but
good push.
Not necessarily the most maneuverable on its head. You really want to get back over through them.
And, looks like it's having trouble moving like a beached sea turtle. Killer Krab is stunned. Krusty Krab looks like they're going to be able to take this unless Killer Krab can find some life, but they're running out of time.
No, it looks like they're going to be done. Wow, what a suplex. What a performance by Krusty Krab.
I did not expect that from this robot. I mean, we saw last season with Retrograde that these forked robots with these long spikes don't really get the best engagement. Krusty Krab proved that wrong with one single maneuver, and it was a pretty even fight up to that point too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Killer Krab looked pretty solid with that pushing power, but that suplex right there, the grab and the suplex just slammed down, even flipping themselves over. That's insane.
That might be one of the coolest things we've seen so far this season. Amazing performance there. Krusty Krab is about to look out for this season. Now going from two aquatic creatures to another one, we have Kraken. Kraken is a very solid robot. They gave Ocean Man a run for their money as the 16th seed last season, but they just can't stop driving into their pit. I think all of their losses are from that.
I mean, Kraken, if they can stay away from the pit, Kraken is a solid bot, a top 10 bot. I mean, they really have the push power on them. It's just, they make silly driving mistakes all the time, and that's something you can't do against a bot like Abomination. 14 and 10 in Robot Khaos. Just solid drive. It'll smother you the whole fight with its weird looking self.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the Triceratops in the back to instill fear. It's got the wedge that spells Vev at the front. This is probably the most horrifying robot in the season, but it's very effective, and we'll have to see if it can outpush Kraken in this one.
And both bots loaded into the box.
We have to see which one can take it, and the fight is on. Both robots jostling for some position. Kraken looking for a good bite. We'll have to see, because it didn't get the most effective bites last season, but it was able to get a couple. But right now, trying to pry off that Triceratops.
Yeah, if you're Kraken, I think you really just want to either take off the wedge of Abomination or really get to those treads. Abomination, a pretty quick tread bot, but if Kraken can get off those treads, that'll be huge for them. Already headed towards the pit, but a nice job to stop themselves.
And there's a good bite there from Kraken, actually.
Solid bite.
Good maneuverability. I don't think we're going to see much damage this fight, but maybe we'll see some pretty good control, I guess. I don't know.
Abomination having a rough time just squaring up with Kraken. Seems like they're leading with that Triceratops, trying to jam it into those teeth, but not really doing
another
much.
Good bite on the Triceratops. And pushed back, and they're both very close to that pit. Kraken trying to push back and trying to get them in, but now it looks like they're very close.
I don't think Kraken should play with the pit.
He really shouldn't, but
they're both going in, and that's going to be a double KO.
That's a double KO. Very difficult to tell who would have gone in first, so that is a double KO. So we're going to have to go to a judge's decision. First one of the season. It's weird it's been this long, but...
Episode 3 and the first judge's decision, wow. But yeah, I mean, Kraken seemed like they handled this fight pretty handily. I mean, they weren't really able to let Abomination do much, and they were able to get some good bites, so I would expect a Kraken decision here.
I think they definitely could take home this decision for Kraken. But we're going to have to look over and see how this goes. Obviously, we're going with the same judging criteria of the seasons past. Both of them falling into the pit at the same time. Double KO leads to a decision. And looking at this, Kraken red, Abomination blue, 5 points damage, 5-point aggression, and 5 points for control. So we're going to have to see who can take this one. Winner is going to start 1-0, loser on 1. This is definitely not the decision you want to lose, but... they don't give any for damage.
So no damage. I mean, 3 aggression, 3 control for Kraken. Total of 6 points, and that's enough for a win.
That's enough for the victory. Good, solid performance there from Kraken. Off to a good start this season. Have to see how they can do in their next match.
Next up, Rampage in the box. Rampage looked promising last season. It definitely had its moments. But I think this season it definitely has an upgraded weapon, and it looks a little bit more dangerous. So I'm excited to see what it can do against a bot like Breaker Box.
Yeah, supposedly improved drive, hopefully a better weapon. They showed some promise last season, starting 2-0, but then they fell flat and lost their next 2, and then they were out. But they definitely have some good potential this season. We'll have to see how they can do. But Breaker Box, similar to Shockwave, and Shockwave was a pretty good robot until I sued it, so we'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, Breaker Box definitely a solid bot. They need to keep that wedge low, and they need to get in good lifts on Rampage. If they can flip them over, I think that they have full control of this fight here.
Absolutely, because Rampage's back wheels don't have any power, so if they get one good flip, they can end this, but we'll have to see how it can do with those signal issues. It'll be interesting to see.
All right, and yeah, let's take a look down in the box. I'm excited to see what plays out in this battle of 2 unknowns.
And here we go. We're going to see which robot can land the better shots, who can be the better battle bot of these 2 battle bots. And a good push. Ooh.
Oh, and a nice lift there already on Rampage.
Good maneuverability there by BreakerBox, trying to get around, land some good shots. Rampage, squirrely, a little bit squirrely, trying to find a good angle. And ooh!
BreakerBox seems to be having trouble keeping that wedge low to the ground, though.
Yeah.
Some nice shots, but nice opportunity there for BreakerBox, which they just miss.
Yeah, BreakerBox, they've had some decent moments so far. Rampage has had a few good pushes, but we're going to have to see who can take better advantage.
Ooh, and a nice ram into the wall there. Just solid control, but a nice counter there by BreakerBox, putting him into the screws. And another nice ram into the wall. Both of these bots have incredible drive.
Yeah, both of them looking good so far. There's a nice shot that took a bit of a chip out of that wedge of BreakerBox, and another good ram so far from Rampage. That's fitting to their name, but they're doing pretty good so far. Another, a big ram there, pushing them.
And another double KO.
Double KO.
Wow.
Normally don't see those a lot in the same episodes, but looking back over that one, both of them had a few good moments. BreakerBox had a few very solid flips, but Rampage had a lot of good hits.
Yeah, I mean, that weapon on Rampage is no joke. I mean, they were able to chip that wedge a little bit of BreakerBox, and just some solid rams by both bots. I mean, both of these robots have incredible drive. Definitely to watch out for this season, how well they can drive. And just that sequence right there where Rampage opens the pit, and then they can all just kind of drive in together. Just interesting. I'm excited to see how they score this.
Yeah, this will definitely be a pretty interesting decision. Of course, they'll probably score damage this time because it was a damaging weapon. But let's see how they settle this one. Should be a pretty interesting decision. And it's pretty
10-5. Wow, I mean, that's a huge decision for Rampage.
Yeah, pretty one-sided decision there. But Rampage with a good victory, and that's a good way for them to set up their season.
For sure. I mean, against a solid fight, solid performance by BreakerBox.
Yep. Now we're getting to the highlighted match between Bung and Pizza Time. Bung, it had some control issues to say the least. It really didn't move around that well. Had a few decent pushes, but Pizza Time was able to get a few quote-unquote clamps because it's not a very good clamper. In the end, they got some good pushes and pushed Bung over towards the side of the pit, and Bung was gone. 1-0 Pizza Time.
Bye-bye, Bung. And our next fight, main event, Blindside versus Snowblind. I mean, what more can you ask for? Blindside 11-15, not the record you'd expect when you see them, but just a really solid weapon, always entertaining to watch, and just always carnage with this bot.
Yeah, Blindside, it's one of those robots that's done really good outside of Robot Chaos, but in Robot Chaos, just not the best luck. Last season, they had a lot of potential, though, and got some big wins. We'll have to see if they can carry that over, but Snowblind is undisputedly the most successful robot in Robot Chaos.
For sure, 29-8. I mean, Snowblind's plow, you never want to go head-to-head with it. They're just smothering drive style. They take down big weapons. That's what they do. And they have their hands full tonight with Blindside with their new tri-bar that they unveiled last season in the postseason. It's going to be interesting to see how they use it, how liberally they use it here. But with not much more said, let's see how it plays out down in the box.
See those beautiful rainbow lights with this beautiful new arena setup, and both robots going in a few first engagements there. Blindside trying to get around.
There's a nice shot on the side of that plow. Not what you want if you're Snowblind.
Snowblind has to keep that plow on the robot if they want a chance. That's one of the issues that has plagued them in seasons past, is that plow. But right now there's Blindside getting a little bit stuck, but Snowblind getting the back down there.
Yeah, definitely. And here comes Blindside with the spin up. And if you're Snowblind, you really want to keep that weapon stopped. A nice little pressure and nice shot using that pit button to kind of stop their weapon. But already Blindside showing how fast they can spin up, and that new tri-bar showing how stable they are.
Yeah, they're really not doing too bad so far, landing a few good shots. Pretty even between them. Both robots having their moments. Snowblind opening up the pit, trying to get them in, because the longer this match goes, might get worse for them if Blindside keeps landing these kind of shots. Now they're pressuring them, and they have that bar stopped. You're going to have to see if they can take advantage. And it looks like, Blindside stuck up on that wedge, and they're being pushed towards the pit.
Is this going to be the end?
This might be it, and down they go. It was looking good a little while for Blindside, but Snowblind, if you make a mistake, they will punish you for it.
Yeah, Snowblind executed pretty much perfectly in this fight. I mean, they had a couple times where they let Blindside spin up when they probably shouldn't have, but just able to, kind of just take advantage with that wedge, Blindside looks scary, man. Like,
That is a very, very powerful bar, but when it got slowed down, couldn't do much. Snowblind really picking up what it's been doing the past few seasons, starting out very dominantly. We'll have to see, can they get another victory in their next match?
and can they go all the way this time?
We'll have to see. A new feature for this season is quarter season power ranking. You can't really judge much because every robot's only had one fight, so this is a very loose ranking of every single robot. Only robot we haven't seen so far is Quantum, but they will make an appearance in a few episodes. Right now, we've seen a lot of dominant robots: Hypershock, Ocean Man, Bot of Italy, and some really promising rookies like Hive Smashing and Krusty, Krab, and Loki. Gonna be interesting to see how this continues to play out.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Hypershock at that #1 spot. Let's see if they can hold on to it for the rest of the season.
Yeah, as we go on, this was a very good episode, but next up, we will see Atomic Green and Stingray. Huge and Electric Boogaloo with some big boy bots fighting out. Ripper against Snowblind. We'll see Blip trying to go 2-0 against Silver Star, and in a main event between Cyclone and Bot of Italy to see who can take a 2-0 record.
And that's it for today. We will see you guys next week. Hope you enjoyed. That's pretty much all. Bye.